For those of you who don't know, this is Alan Stokes.
We're back.
I'm Luke Hart, and we are doing a podcast. And I thought that, one, I wanted to get Stokes' take on the new comp setup that we're doing and his involvement in it. And then I find it really interesting to talk about people who, there's not many people that I've met in my whole life as a surfboard shaper who have actually made a career out of surfing. So I think it's really cool to talk to you and just get that insight. So obviously,
and surfed for so long, like so many years. I find that interesting with other people I meet. If they've surfed for so long, they've just collected so much surfing experience, haven't they? So many stories. And
do you find it? Do you identify as a surfer? And would it be weird if you weren't identified as a surfer? Like, what's that in your mind? Are you just a bloke who surfs? Or
I don't. It's a weird one. People outside of the surfing world, when they find out that you surf, or even worse, that you were quite good at it, it becomes I find it quite uncomfortable.
Do you?
Because you have to then like go, it's weird, isn't it? It's like a weird. It's weirder from outside of the surfing like bubble, because people see it as like this. I don't know. You just get this kind of thing where they have the perception of what a surfer is and what surfing is. Yeah. And it's you can sense it in the way that they've like. Yeah, because it's kind of gone. Oh no, you do this.
It's like. It is a weird one from the outside looking in. What is a surfer? I think that it's sort of semi-magical, semi-hippie, like just the perception.
Just so many different perceptions. That's the weird. I think that's what weirds me out, is that you never quite know what that person's going to think about. Yeah,
do they think Malibu surfer, or do they?
You've like, no idea. Yeah,
like Laird Hamilton.
Yeah, I don't know. For some, it makes me feel a bit. But I don't like it when people ask you what you do. Do you not feel the same? Like, what do you do? And then you have to feel like you have to like. Do this like intro about what you do.
Can I be honest? I always feel like if they like talk to me about the fact that they're they work at a law firm and then I'd be like, I'm a surfer shop. I always feel like I won that. And that's my position. Yeah, it's like I play for a job. So, but
I feel like I find it weirds me out a bit, because it never sounds like something that's legit. That sounds stupid, doesn't it?
It fully doesn't.
Doesn't it?
No, it really doesn't sound
because when someone says, "Oh, I did a degree in science and now I'm a, whatever." When you just say, "Oh, well, I surf," it just feels like it should be an and.
It's not legit, but it also, I personally think that it either takes a lot of bollocks, or.
What do you mean?
I mean, we didn't go to school and get degrees, and we didn't pursue that lifestyle. We went love before money, and we didn't go the obvious route to life. And it's ignorance a little bit. It's probably slight naivety, but I think it's dreaming big and just like I find it. I wish that more people would do life the way we did it.
I think more people are now. I think because now you have more opportunity to kind of like set your own path. You can create opportunity through networking so much easier. It
doesn't maybe seem so silly.
What?
Like, to pick this sort of lifestyle.
Odd jobs don't seem so silly, do they? Because now people can like do breath work.
Did you?
Did you? I teach people how to breathe properly. So that's a job.
Yeah.
I thought I was breathing properly.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Yeah, and it's super beneficial though.
Yes.
And
incredibly
it's like,
beneficial.
Yeah. No, and it probably even stuff like yoga instructor was probably a super niche. Yeah. And now it's like...
That's huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
So when you were a kid and you obviously loved surfing, there would have been some sort of stage, I don't know, because Jackson's 11 now, and I know that he's already thinking about it and getting opportunities to go on trips and doing camps and stuff like that. What did your parents think, and how did that go as a kid? Was there any sort of like chat about, right, is this what you want to do? Because
I think ongoing there was like little chats, nothing serious, nothing like... I think the most amazing thing about my parents is they literally knew nothing about surfing and the surfing world, or skateboarding, that whole thing, But like they were so supportive, and yet with very little understanding of what
Must have been exciting for them as well.
Yeah, but surely like kind of terrifying too, that your kid is just so into this one thing, but like there's nothing else around him that he's like doing. He's just, what are we going to do with him? He's just like...
I think your parents...
I think that the lucky thing was that they could just see this constant evolution.
You were getting
progression,
bit better
and opportunities becoming bigger, and you know, so that was, I guess, giving them some confidence, and but they're just amazingly supportive in with no understanding of what it was, and I didn't have any understanding at all about, you know, becoming a professional athlete in the world, you know, none of that, the industry side of things. I just wanted to go surfing, so I was massively naive, I guess, in that respect, that I just was like, I'm just going to surf all day, every day, and then the rest will take care of itself.
And it did.
And it did. Yeah, it 100% did. And you know how, like you were saying, that we did life, or the kind of work side of life, backwards. The only thing that got us through that kind of those early years was pure enthusiasm and energy and excitement, and like a blinded kind of passion for what you do. And if you've got enough of that energy just ploughing you forwards, nothing stops you in anything you do.
I think that, you know, a lot of people talk about like buzzwords now, like manifestation and things, and that I think that some people's outward take on manifestation is that if I think about a red Ferrari enough, a red Ferrari is going to magically appear. But the reality of manifestation is you take one step closer to what you want every single day with pure intent to get it.
Yeah.
And you end up at places, and even when you end up having what you wanted, you're not really where you thought you'd be still. It's still different.
Yeah.
But is there a time... So growing up, obviously, surfing was kind of, I wouldn't say new, but it was probably fresh to think about it as a career at your young age. Was there a time when you were like, you know, maybe a first contract with a sponsor, or a sponsor jumping on board, where you were like, oh, okay, if I do what I've been doing and do it more, they'll help me do it?
Yeah. Yeah, I do remember. I had been sponsored for a while for like product and boards and wetsuits through local businesses. Fistral Surf Company, Graham Bunt, who else? I'm trying to remember the name of the wetsuit brand. It will come to me, but Solar wetsuits for quite
My first ever wetsuit.
Yeah. So I was
still going?
Are
they still going?
I think, yeah, because I think Cully, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and I've had some boots off them. Yeah, it's amazing, they're still going. So I'd already kind of seen that side of, you know, sports with product endorsements and things like that.
Yep.
Which was, you know, to a kid is amazing, isn't it? It's like Christmas every day. What, you just give me a box of stuff. Brilliant, amazing. You know, I love this. I'm going to go surfing and get more stuff. But then I got sponsored. My first like European sponsorship was through, I think it was through Fistral Surf Company with the Cole brothers, and they were like the first stockist, I think, of like Rusty. And so they had a connection to the European Rusty headquarters, and they somehow put me in contact with Rusty in Europe, and then they sorted me a proper kind of deal with paid incentives.
How old were you?
I want to say like 13.
Oh, wow. That's quite early, yeah.
Yes, and so I already had this contract, piece of paper, you know, with my name on it, with like the team manager for Rusty in Europe and the Rusty logo, and so it was real.
Yeah.
It was faxed.
Wow.
It was faxed over. That's how old I am. and I remember that, seeing like I don't even know how much like the incentives were. It wasn't much, like 100 quid if you win the British, or, you know, little things, but it enabled me to start to understand that side of the industry and business, I guess, and why these companies wanted me riding for them.
Yeah.
and it gave me a sense of achievement, and that suddenly I was like, and I'm like 13, 14 years old, but I'm probably now starting to think like a 17, 18, 19, maybe older in terms of contracts, right? You know, maybe 20 years old, suddenly you start thinking and getting contracts and things in other walks of life. I was suddenly thinking about it from that side of.
Did you feel any pressure at any point?
Not outside pressure.
Yeah.
Never. I never have. Always my own type of pressure, which was, I understood very early that the only pressure I had to put on myself was to try and better my own surfing, and everything else around that one thing took care of itself. If all I did was better my performance every day, all of these other things would just like happen. Which was crazy to like be thinking in that way at that age.
It's exciting though.
It was very cool, and it was but the Rusty incentives in that contract gave me the opportunity to then go to Europe and start competing in pro juniors and all of that type of stuff, you know. Without that,
what was that like when you first sort of got there?
I went from being British champ, winning every event here. Like literally just walk up, I'm just going to win this one again. You know, I think in 1 year I won like 7 events. So I think there was only 7 events and I won all of them. So it was like I was the big fish in the small pond, right? And then I went to Europe to do my first pro junior. I'm trying to remember where it was. And I just literally lost first heat or second heat or something like that. And it was a massive eye-opener to the difference in level between us and Europe. And how quickly Europe was starting to move away from English surfing or British surfing. In terms of progression,
they took it serious really early on. Didn't they?
You could just see that the guys that were slightly older than me, Mickey Peacon, Patrick Bevan, Eric Ribiere, their surfing was so different to ours, especially in a competition format. It was so polished and so like precise. I remember watching Mickey Peacon, just was like blown away by how precise and like tactical everything was when he went into a heat. It was a very steep learning curve in terms of like I went in and just thought I was going to do well. I don't think I went in thinking I was going to win, but I still had that like winner's mindset.
You had some confidence.
I had this confidence, and literally like heat 1 I like scraped through it, and then my confidence obviously probably took a dive straight away, and then heat 2 I think I got knocked out. And I think I did a fair few years like that, just like getting knocked out in the second round.
And how were you treated in terms of, what were they treating you like, the other European surfers? Was it all good vibes? Or
all good vibes. I mean, I didn't speak French or Spanish or anything like that. I could say hello, or,
typical English.
But naturally I'm fair, especially at that age, I was quite shy, I guess, because I'm just looking up at these older surfers, and because I was one of the younger juniors, right? Under 20s this is, so I'm, I don't know, 14, 15 years old. So pretty.
Oh yeah, no way, that's a big gap.
Pretty young, so I was just in awe of it all, which is the best position to, be in, I think, because you just absorb everything. So it was good to have that confidence knocked, because then it just kind of let me sit back and go, this is pretty, and and then it's the next challenge, isn't it?
And so what happened after that then? So you've gone in the Euros, you've sort of had your arse handed to you. Arguably still pretty young if it's under 20s anyway. Carried on competing at home.
I've never stopped. It just continued. So it's hard to remember, but there was a bunch of like domestic events that we had. Nothing with like prize money or anything like that, but it would have been like British nationals, English nationals. We had school championships, the odd kind of, I mean, we had like the Headworks, Pro Juniors and things like that.
Looking back, they were really, really good for British surfing, Headworks.
I mean, that was a big turning point for me. I won I want to say the under 20s, but I was pretty young. I don't know how old, but that gave me like a good kind of indication of how far ahead I was of at least the UK talent.
Yeah.
So that was quite nice, because I was competing against people that are obviously a lot older than me, and then winning that division was...
Yeah.
I think that's always, if you see an athlete and they're winning divisions way ahead of their age,
yeah,
you can, you could probably bet on them that they're going to be doing pretty good, when they get to that age anyway.
How long did you compete on the European Pro Junior circuit until you sort of, I don't know,
I think
leveled up or
I think
got used to it?
I don't know exactly how many years, but it had to be 3 years, at least 3 years. And I was like really struggling. No results, nothing that I would call a result. And then I think it was only in the last 2 years, and that was under 20, so I would have been, 18, 19 kind of thing, 19, that everything changed. It was almost like I just kind of matured in that division. And I'd done enough years and I'd lost enough heats and it got to the point where it was just now or nothing. And maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was the pressure of knowing that it's now or nothing. Because at that point, the Pro Junior series that we had, which was unbelievable, back then, throughout Europe, was literally like you needed to be, first, second, third for finishing that tour, to qualify to go to the World Juniors in Hawaii, and then you're in there with like people like Jamie O'Brien, who won the World Junior Championships. Do you know what I mean? So that it literally was so obvious that was the stepping stone to getting.
Did they have events in the UK for?
They had one, and I think maybe the first or second year the Pro Juniors ran. I don't know if they ever had another one. I don't remember doing another one, but yeah, they had one. I remember I had a broken foot and lost in like the second round, I think.
At home?
Yeah. So yeah, again, another massive hit to the confidence.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was just a very obvious path. At that point, there was no free surfing, no YouTube, no, the internet wasn't really a thing it is now. It was magazines, the odd surf trip to be featured in that magazine, but everything was like, who's winning the events? Yeah. Who's the guy that we should sponsor?
It's so different, isn't it?
It's so different now. Yeah, it's so different now.
It's hard
in a
to
good
pull
way.
your head around it.
Yeah, in a good way. I mean, obviously then it was easier for us, I think, for an athlete, because it was so simple. It was like, you have to just do it this way. Yeah. So that made it easy. Yeah. You didn't have all of these, you didn't have to choose. It's like you just had to do it this way. Yeah. So that's probably, otherwise I think maybe I would have been just too indecisive and wouldn't know. Yeah. But
I think it made people better at surfing because they had to compete, and
there was a lot of pressure to be that person that, because I was leaving people behind that I'd been competing with domestically, and then leaving people behind that I'd been competing on the European stage. Yeah. Right. So I could see that there was this culling of talent and athletes.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's so brutal.
So you were just trying to stay that side of the line.
Stay that side of the line.
Yeah.
And that side of the line was top 6, I think. Top 6. And everyone else behind, there's no career. There's no...
And what was your best position in Europe?
Second.
Second. Against...
Second.
Who won it that
Pablo
year?
Gutierrez won that year.
Oh, Gutierrez.
Yeah, and there was no chance. I couldn't beat him. He was too far ahead.
Was he?
We called him the Matador.
Yeah.
And he was just unbeatable.
Yeah.
He was in his final year. I was in my final year. And he was just I was just still looking up. Maybe that's why I couldn't beat him, because I was just still in awe of him. Yeah. His ability to just turn up and just do, the foundation of surfing, just bottom turn, top turn, bottom turn, and just nail every wave he took off on, and perfect wave selection. And I didn't even have that yet. I don't think I've ever had that. I get too excited and pick the wrong waves and try and go too big. I don't have the reserved approach as much as he did. He had it perfectly dialed, just like Mickey Peacon. Yeah. And could just go in there and just post 2 7s all day long, win the event. Yeah. So I was nowhere near beating him.
Arguably, your style of surfing is a little more timeless now. You look at it, though. I mean, hard to say, but when you think of a guy even on the QS, just putting an 8 on the board, it isn't just conventional comp surfing, like you have in your head, 7 to the beach, just batter it as hard as you can. It's like some people are getting the 7s and the 8s for 1 turn, 2 turns.
Yeah, it's still
air,
almost
turn,
similar.
turn,
Yeah, it's always the same kind of thing.
I feel like
that
just
8, there's that special something, that
Yeah.
little magic bit of style or something that you can't quite put into words, isn't it? That's,
Well, I see
but that's
that-
what I was always drawn to. Like my
Yeah.
heroes were Kelly and Curran.
Yeah.
And so those two, and Kelly's hero was Curran. So I would just be so fixated on their body movements, the way they approached every section, to the point where I'd paddle out at Fistral and think that I was Kelly surfing. That was my mindset. Like, how would he bottom turn? How would he... Even the paddling, I'd paddle around like I was him.
No way.
Yeah, like role play, literally like that. Like your imagination, you know, you're emulating your heroes. And that's a powerful way to become very good very quickly, because you have taken yourself out of the equation. You now know you can do all these things because you've seen yourself do them on videos, but it's not you. So in your brain's just firing, saying, yeah, of course you can do this, like lay back and get up, because you're this guy now. It's like you're playing a computer game with yourself.
I don't think kids do that now. I don't know. I mean,
I think they must do, and I hope they do, because it's an amazing thing to do through that early.
They're subjected to so many, you know, online now. I watch Jackson watching surfing, and like 1 minute he's looking at, you know, worst wipeouts in big waves. Next he's looking at biggest airs in a wave pool. Next he's looking at Torren Martin sailing.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's almost like you can't now, I think, because we were so like drip fed these like VHS videos, you know, maybe one would come out, you know, you get it for Christmas, and you've got to make that last all the way through to your birthday or whatever, you know, and you've worn it out. I think it allows you only to have a certain amount of information. When you're now, if you just like scroll through your Instagram and you're following the top 44 or whatever number it is these days, you've got all of these people, you know, kind of telling you this is what surfing should look like, and now you have to decide, and it's too much, maybe, I don't know, but I think it's a good thing and a bad thing. It could be a bad thing, couldn't it? But I didn't have that. I just had, you know, a few videos that I could.
I think it's a bit like, you know, when football was invented, it must have been like 2 guys. And then one passed the ball to each other, and then, you know, then they like kicked it up in the air, see if you could control it, and then like, oh, can you get it in that little space over there? And then what if I have a space and you have a space? And what about if he plays on my team and then he plays on my team? We try and get our ball into your bit, and it would just grow and develop. And they're all the whole time they're having a really good time. And maybe only nowadays, and I'm sure football players are having a good time, and certain pro surfers are still having a good time, but maybe, just maybe, nowadays it's easier just to forget that you're playing a game.
What do you mean?
Like, when you put everything in, I'm just using football as an example, but I think surfing's the same. Like, you add the money, you add the fact that, you know, training. So like,
there's so many facets to it now.
Yeah, like, okay,
the one single act has been almost like,
maybe not lost, but
but there's a lot of noise around it.
Yeah,
there can be a lot of noise.
Like you're always trying to make something better, aren't you? And then when do you stop and just go, God, this is perfect? You don't. Yeah. You just keep making it better and better and better and better and better and better until it morphs into this thing now that's almost taken control of what it was. Because you imagine going on tour now and just being like, right, if you haven't got you know, if you haven't got your dietary plans in check, if you haven't got your training, you know,
well, it could affect you mentally, having all this information coming in, but knowing that you haven't kind of ticked all these boxes when really you never needed to.
Here's something. Here's something I thought. I love this fact. The champions don't listen to the noise. They just do what they feel is comfortable. You know, Steph Gilmore. There was one year where she won the tour, and she only picked up 3 new boards that whole year. Bearing in mind that a lot of surfers are picking 10, 11 boards up per event. She picked up 3. And, you know, they were like, why have you only got 3 boards? It's shit, you can have as many as you want. She's like, because my boards are sick. I don't need new boards. And then when she picks up new boards, it's like a twinny or like a single fin, or like she'll try someone else's board. Like, she's just playing, and she just happens to be, I mean, I'm sure super competitive. And same with Slater. How many times do you see him on, like, I don't want to say shit boards, but very experimental boards.
Yeah,
that
like
might not
just
be
before his heat
helping
or
him.
something, or even in his heat.
Yeah, I mean, look at him at trestles.
Yeah.
He almost. I didn't know if that was even slightly disrespectful at trestles, because he was surfing like as loose as hell, little short quad, and like it's like
it's like he can. Maybe he's visualised himself already winning the event on that board, and he's so convinced that is the equipment to surf, that it's up and running. Then, you know, even if someone tries to, you know, say, oh, maybe just get on a standard thruster and it will look,
maybe,
you know,
I think,
I don't know, but
I think it's a safety blanket, and so like the reason why he won't surf thrusters is because maybe he couldn't surf them as well as he used to, so he surfs alternative boards. It gives him a new lease of life on those boards. And I think there's a pressure on him to uphold the eyes on surfing. So like, for example, Tiger Woods goes to events now. Physically, he's not all there. Mentally, he's probably not all there. He's got loads of money in the bank. But when he turns up to a PGA Tour event, their numbers skyrocket because Tiger's playing.
Yeah, obviously.
So he knows that.
Yeah.
So they're paying him to be there. So he's
effect.
like, why wouldn't I play the sport I love for lots and lots of money? But the real reason he used to be on the golf course isn't quite there. And I think maybe with Slater, potentially. And I think that's the sign, personally, of a sport who hasn't quite got his format down, or it's like dated or whatever.
You say that though, but he's always rode those strange boards in heats. Do you know what I mean? Going back quite
When's
far.
the last title we won?
Oh God.
Was it 12?
I don't know.
Was that 13 years ago?
Is it that long ago?
I think so.
Yeah, I
might be wrong.
I mean,
might have won like another sneaky one in 15 or something.
Maybe he's just paddling. Maybe that board just feels good and fast.
It kind of looks fun.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you would be feeling this fast, fun board, right, under your feet. Yeah. It would feel great. Loads of glide, drive off the bottom, loose through the lip. Feels good on rail. So you feel like, you know, I can go up, down, round, around. You know, I feel like I can do what I want on it. And if I get the right wave, I reckon I could stick it to these kids. But visually, it never looks great, does it? When you've got someone on a short boardy board, pointy nose thruster, or maybe a quad if it's Toledo, and then you've got someone on something that's a bit stubbier. You know what I'm saying?
I think
that rail never, because you've got a tighter little arc for a start when you do a carve or a hook, and the rail just doesn't send that spray as much. So I think it's a visual thing.
And I might be wrong here, because obviously my level of surfing is can only take me so far in these sort of conversations. But if I see someone nursing a board, I instantly go, well, that's not the best surfing he can do.
Yeah, because there's that element of control, that percentage where you're just like, wind up the windows real quick.
In pumping waves, in perfect waves, and you're on a board that effectively is giving you slightly more stability, slightly more float, like these little stubbies. Yeah. Brilliant for weak wet, brilliant for the UK. You can probably do better surfing on them than shortboards half the time.
Just because of the speed,
But as soon as you get that speed and you see someone nurse it, you just go, something in you just goes, well, he's not.
Yes.
That isn't really high performance. That's impressive to control that board, but it's not.
I mean, maybe like before the events. Yeah, no, exactly. I agree. And before the event started, that it was pretty small, wasn't it? Very kind of crumbly, small 2 to 3 foot surf. So maybe he was surfing that board a bunch, and it just felt so nice. But then it got bigger, and it's hard then, isn't it? Because you've got your feet in that wax.
He might even feel pressure to surf it. Like, I've started with it, everyone's seen me on it, I'm just going to stick to it.
Yeah.
Because he has got that kind of stubborn nature, hasn't he? He's done that a few times. I mean, he won.
It'd be hard too, because you'd come in, right, from a little free surf. It doesn't matter what you did. You could have nosedived. Someone's going to be like, that board looks sick.
Electric.
It looks so good.
Yeah.
So you can't gauge it, can you? Yeah, you just can't gauge it. You'd be like, I have no idea.
Yeah, but I feel like you always know when a board just feels... I'm really good at telling if someone's on a board that's good for them, but I'm also really good at knowing when someone feels like they're on a board that's good for them. So it doesn't necessarily mean visually the two are... Yeah. I can see someone's confidence on a board that they
I agree.
Really know.
I'm really good at knowing I'm on a board where I can up performance, right? Whereas I know I'm on a board where I could maybe up fun.
You're very good at that.
Such a difference between the two.
That's why it's nice watching you surf.
Yeah, that's the difference between the two.
You take what a board does.
Yeah, because of that very reason, like you could up fun, because that moment that you're saying where it's such a fine line with boards as well in terms of like volume and rail shape. You're halfway through this turn and it's fun. If you want to add that bit of performance, how did you explain it? You can see someone's nursing the board.
Yeah.
And that's that kind of fun side of things where suddenly you know that if you start pushing harder, the wheels kind of start falling off because that board isn't going to allow you to apply that force and that body torque and positioning into that section of the wave. Yeah. So if you do that, go for it, but there's a good chance you're going to slide around and stop and fall.
Yeah, but you could even make that look good.
Yeah, you can make it look good.
Yeah. This is the problem with not the problem. This is the beautiful aspect of surfing. If you're in a car, right, and I go around that corner as fast as you can, okay, and then there's lots of teams trying to do the same thing. What you'll find is they'll pick similar attributes of a car, like 4-wheel drive, low centre of gravity, blah 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 blah. Get around that corner as fast as possible. But if you say to someone, get around that corner impressively as possible, they might go rear wheel drive and then like burn it. And like they're not going to win the race. They're going definitely slower, but it looks cool as hell.
Styling around.
Whereas surfing, there's an element you can bring into that to high performance. But if you go too much one way, novelty. You go too much the other way, everyone's like, yuck.
It's such a fine line as well, and that's what I love.
It's fine but blurry.
But that's what I love about it. You're always chasing that line. Like trying to be on that line with a board that's adding so much fun, but so much of you feel like your progression, you're having to think about your lines and you've got this speed, so where can you start putting that board and having the confidence that board's going to be able to handle that. You just want those two to merge into this like line, and that line is so thin, it's addictive. That's what makes it so exciting, because every now and then you get a board and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Right?
But it can't be the board forever, can it?
No.
Because that line,
the
board moves it.
It moves.
Yeah.
It moves in your perception of surfing and how you want to add your element of style moves constantly.
Yeah.
Daily, weekly, it depends how intense you are.
This is what I try and tell kids when I make them boards. Like, they're like, this board's magic, can we do it again? I'm like, nah. Like, how do we make it better?
Yeah.
Because nothing that's good is static. It's always moving. So just keep with it, keep with it. And do you know, I had a real funny conversation on the beach the other day. I won't name names, but it was interesting. It's a kid down the beach, good surfer, who surfs with a group of surfers, also very good. Now this kid is on one brand of surfboards and these kids are on another brand of surfboards, and he's getting pressure. Oh, you should get one of our boards, that'll make you surf better. And anyway, this kid does one of the best turns I've ever seen him do, and got it on footage, and I was like, dude, surf more like that. He's a very good surfer, doesn't quite let himself go, but let himself go. Anyway, he's on his old board. I think he was getting free boards or a swapsy deal. I think he was on quite a good deal. And he gave in to the pressure of his friends. And I don't think that's going to put him on bad boards at all. I think he could very well go and get bad boards. But what they have done is stopped his opportunity, stopped him from understanding that he has the power to go to that shaper who he was with and say, these guys are on these boards, I'm on this board. I would quite like my board to look a little bit more like their boards by doing this, this and this. And having that chat with that shaper so that he makes his shaper's boards better and feeling that power in himself to elevate with his boards. And what was funny is someone said something to me like, oh yeah, on way good, better boards now. And I said, hold on a minute. I'm trying not to give away names. It doesn't really matter, I don't think. But like,
you have to edit that.
Yeah, because I don't want to put people down. I just want to tell the story.
Was his board quite different then to the other guys?
It was. He would.
Did that allow him to then have a unique way of surfing away?
He's.
I mean, taking away competitive
Yeah, competitive aside, I would say he's got the nicest style out of all of them.
But yes, but competitiveness aside, does that board allow him to surf a wave in a unique way that you go, that's that guy?
Well, I think...
From afar, like from the top of the golf course path. I know that turn.
Yes, I would say, but I would say also he just needed to let the brakes off a bit, regardless of his boards. It was him not letting the brakes off. And I think he started to let his brakes off, then gave into the pressure. But what was funny is that the brand of board that he was riding, another team rider from this brand comes to Fistral. On the same brand.
Yeah.
In the water with all of them.
Yeah.
Blows them entirely out the water.
And the dial just...
and just like absolutely shreds it, honestly. And I was filming, so I saw it all firsthand, and has no clue of that dynamic, but knows that this guy now is riding the other brand.
Yeah.
And I said, look, that guy can surf that good on those boards. How did he do that? Did he do that because it's magic, or did he tell his shaper what he needed and input himself and grow that confidence that he's got his bloody name on the board? He rips. He surfs better than majority of people in the UK. You know, he'll blow most people out of the water. This kid, you know him, and I think that bit, if you're not really careful with boards, not with wetsuits, not with the trainers you wear after, but that bit there, when you can grow that relationship with your boards, the confidence you get will get you better at surfing, because you'll be able to get yourself out more. You're not trying to be this guy or that guy, or trying to be better than this guy or that guy even. You're just doing the best you, working with your equipment, and then when you know you're riding your board, it's your board. Yeah.
Well, there's a certain amount of time that you need to invest in understanding the board that you ride, right?
Working out what's good at.
And why does my style of surfing, which you can compare to a lot of surfers that have come before you, and even surfers at your local break on that day, you know, you could see that guy's doing a similar turn. What's he riding? Oh, that's because I'm on a similar board, right? That board allows you to do that type of surfing. So there's a certain amount of time invested in really understanding the boards that you surf and how and why you surf them the way you do, because the board will dictate how well you can surf a wave. It's not you that does that. If you do that, if you get it that way round, I feel like you're going to catch a lot of edges. It's not going to feel that. You might still rip, but it might not feel that good.
Do you mean, let's say, for example, you're on a quad and you try and do a turn like you're on a thruster, the board's not going to let you do it.
It's not. Yeah, it will. You could do it, but you're going to have to like really kind of manipulate your body movement.
You sort of can't though.
Yeah, you can't 100%. No, I don't think you can. You've just got to like, there's this element of like, don't get me wrong, like there's bad boards, right? And then there's great boards. Yeah. And in between there's lots and lots of boards. This doesn't work if you're on a bad board. It just, the board is not helping you surf on a wave.
But you know those middle boards, can they turn into bad boards and good boards if you put a bit of time into them, or?
Yes, of course. Yeah, and purely through mindset as well. And this happens a lot, especially when you get to surfers that are, you know, great surfers, advanced surfers. Purely their thinking and their mindset can turn what is actually probably an incredible board into a bad board, because they just don't want to ride a 5'11". It should be a 5'9", or, you know? But that is not making any difference in terms of their surfing. It's just that they're approaching it with a mindset that isn't allowing that board to dictate what it wants to do on a wave. Yeah. But this happens on good boards. Obviously, if you're riding a bad board, it's going to be, you know, tough. But on good boards, and I'm talking about boards that literally, when you paddle, you can feel they're good. They come up onto a plane after a few paddles. They feel good when you paddle. They paddle fast. They catch waves with ease. And they like to drop down a wave. They literally want to, like, you're having to stay on top of it because this board wants to go. Yeah. That's the sign of like a very, very good board. And that's all I want in a board, is a board that will lift when I paddle, catches waves in those little pockets where you see those little just like chip shots in, and it's got drive, and I'm not even standing on it yet. I'm just like, I've caught it early, so I'm just going to wait for the right moment to stand up.
You always do that, the old golden Stokesy eagle.
The board is saying like, we're on, let's just wait for the perfect timing now. Let's rhythm this with the wave. And when you get those really good boards, they're the ones that you can let dictate your surfing, because all you do then is you just feel your edges and you just kind of talk to the edge of the board and see how that it's communicating with the water, whether it's a textured onshore surface or if it's offshore, hollow, flat, and you're just feeling it really quickly and then applying pressure and understanding what the board and where it wants to go, and then you start to change your body shape and start to move your body accordingly.
So, because I haven't actually felt one of his boards, but like I've seen the Pizels, and one thing I noticed about the Pizels as a shaper, just shaper's mindset, is that they're set up like stiff, and there's often like they're quite draggy because there's V behind the back fins, and like you see John like how much he lays into turn, and it makes perfect sense. Yeah. But you wonder how many other people can you really ride a John and do what John does, or do you have to be John power? You have to
ride it in the same similar conditions, because if you're saying it's got V and it's stiff and it's got those straight rail lines,
it's just set up that they have like straight
and
fins.
The fins,
even. That's what I realised.
Yeah, I personally, if you put me on one of those, I'd struggle.
Yeah,
you'd have to put me in a pretty decent wave, a good size and a good amount of power, and it would take me a while to figure out. And even then, I don't think my legs could handle it. Do you know what I mean? Like John's got like. He's a big guy. I'm not. I'm the complete opposite, and that's my board is probably the complete opposite.
This is the hardest thing for me, is because I'll make a good board for one person, so I'm like convinced in my mind that that's a good board, and then I want the other person, whoever it may be, to try that board. Yeah, and I kind of almost willing them to know it's a good board. Yeah. But there's certain times when it just doesn't work.
No,
it just doesn't work. And you're just like, how come? Why can't you just...
and I think
get on your front foot a bit earlier. Yeah. And you're like...
I think that's a massive deciding factor, is that you've got... Each surfer has got a different percentage of front foot and back foot weight, depending on where they are on the wave, whether that's through a turn or driving down the line. The percentage of back foot and front foot weight is completely different. So if you take Luke Dillon and myself, you'd be able to see that difference.
He doesn't really get off his back foot, does he?
No, exactly. And then the width of the stance between front foot and back foot is like your seesawing of your board. So if you narrow that stance or widen it, we're talking millimeters. That board's changing how it sits in the water all of a sudden.
Even if your front foot heel is just towed in a little bit.
Yep, just the angle, totally, massively.
And I'm rubbish, and I know that.
Yeah. So you can see just by those tiny differences, a huge difference to what one person would consider to be the magic board and somebody else's magic board.
Yeah, God, it's interesting. Do you know what's really funny to me as well? And I'll just admit it, I don't care. There's so much shapers I hear, and they just... what they're saying is quite loose, and I know why. It's because they know the board works and they're confident that the board works, and they can give you all the parameters on why it works, but no one exactly knows. It's aero, it's hydro, it's weight distribution, it's torque.
So many things. It's impossible.
Someone one day is going to figure out the mathematics and the dynamics.
We're definitely getting,
and it's going to be boring.
We've definitely come a long way in like the last 10 years, because surfboards have got so much better in 10 years. There's so many people on good boards now. Yeah. Whereas I would say good boards were kind of hard to come by 20 years ago.
You could see people on bad boards.
I had a ton of bad boards. Like now, this is the crazy thing now. The percentage of, like, say my quiver of boards. Yeah. Right, like now, for example, my quiver board, it's like, I want to try and keep it at 6 boards. There's a few more, right? But say 6 boards. They're all kind of magic boards, right? Whereas if 10 years ago, and we made those boards, they would not be magic for you because you were searching for something else. I think that, like, your boards are fun. No, but you could what I'm saying is you could swap out those funner boards and put in you could put 6 short boards in there, and I bet you they'd all be magic. This is what I'm saying, is the percentage of magic boards now is way higher than back when I was 20 years old, and it was like all you did as a pro surfer back in the day was try to win an event, but also just looked like around the world for a magic board.
Yeah.
It was crazy how people would get so obsessed with like, I'm just going to try and get a DHD because it's going to be the magic one. Or it's that conversation about, oh, it's a magic board. It doesn't really happen anymore because the percentage of great boards is so high because we've come such a long way in 10 years. So now most of the boards you're giving me, I'm like, this is a sick board.
Yeah.
This is a magic board.
Yeah, well, you're at...
Yes, some of those boards are in the rack are fun boards or stock form boards, right?
But they're still
even then, like you said, with my surfing, I can put myself in someone else's shoes that is, say, less advanced in surfing or surfs a different type of way. And I can still say that fun board is a magic board for this type of surfing.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the work you put in to make sure that you are
that your craft is suited to your surfing.
Because I always know it's funny because I always know, like, if you ask me what does more rocker on this board do, I can 100% tell you what does moving the back fin up, right? But then if you say, okay, so you know all of these things if I change this board, but what are you going to do for this situation? I still do stuff and go, I hope that works.
But isn't that the fun of it? That's
amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
And the other thing I love doing is I'm real bad at this. And it's a fearlessness, but it is a fearlessness. It's just because I go, right, I know I can get this guy a good board, but I really want to know what this does.
Yeah, and it's like finding the...
Yeah, you just plop it in.
But like you said before, if it got so good that we could literally boil it down to all of these variables, and if you match this with this, you get this performance. Like you said, it would become boring. That's the kind of fun side of it.
It might all then be on the surfer.
For you, it would become more boring because you don't get to do that bit where you're like, I'm just going to kick this tail a little bit more or, pull this rail down here and make that, whatever it might be. That's where you're looking and going, oh, wow, I thought that's what would happen and it did. Or I thought that's what was going to happen and it done the complete opposite.
Yeah.
But watching that turn has just gone, oh, I've just suddenly figured this out. And then you go off down this tangent. If it was all set in stone and we knew exactly what was going on all the time, you would never be able to have that because you'd know. The
craziest is where you go, right, I know if I add a bit more rocker, it's going to do X. And then you add this much and it does X so much.
Yeah.
You're like...
Yeah, too much.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I reckon I've accidentally done that before.
Just...
With a couple of... And you're like, Jesus, that's mad.
Totally meant, totally meant to do that.
Luke Dillon the other day, he was surfing, mate, 100% got to give you credit for this board because it was, so you remember the Stoker pop? Like that's basically the basis of my shaping. Continuous rocker, deep single concaves, kind of slightly wider nose. Always done that. From that board, gave me confidence that I knew what that did.
Well, do you know what that board did? Is you literally put about as little of a surfboard as you could under a human's feet.
5'3".
So whatever was there was obviously working really well, right? Because it was obvious if it didn't work, you could totally see it because we couldn't get away with it.
22 litres.
Yeah, you just couldn't get away with it not working. So as soon as it went, you're like, it worked.
But it gave, I wouldn't say it was the best board we ever did, but it really, I understood what it was doing. So I always based on wanting that feeling in shortboards.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Luke's surfing my updated version of that board, which is the HP Chili, kind of set in my ways. I feel like I've completed high performance small wave boards, shoot me. I'm still going to try and do them better, but I feel like fundamentally I've got the right areas and I can just create different vibes now. So anyway, he's surfing that. He's always on shortboards. His most crazy kind of board is a Rockstar, which is still a shortboard basically. Yeah. So he's surfing it and he comes out and he's like, he had some good turns and he's like, I feel like the tail pad needs to come up the board a little bit, or like, it's like, it's weird. It almost feels like the back fin is just up a little bit. And I'm finding it just where I need to push it. I feel like I just need to jam my foot back slightly. And I'm like, if I do it too much, then I'm anchoring it. And I was like, dude, the back fin of the HP Chili is up a 1/4 inch.
Yeah.
And you just felt that 1/4 inch. Yeah. No, before I said that, he was like, I just feel like maybe if you just drop the fin back like 1/4 inch.
Can you just put it back to where I'm used to it?
Basically, because he just wants a shortboard.
Yeah.
But
and
anyway,
it's that back foot weight. He's feeling that.
Yeah.
He's feeling
completely feeling a quarter inch.
Yeah.
So I told him, anyway, he goes back out with the lads in the session, filmed it, just like understood what he needed to do on that board, and just hammers, absolute hammers.
Yeah.
But the fact that he could tell that, I mean, he hasn't surfed for 3 months.
Crazy.
It's cool.
But that's even crazier. He hasn't surfed for 3 months, and he jumps on a board that's got a back fin that's slightly further forward than his normal board, and his brain is just like, something's not right.
I know this.
What's going on back here?
But and then to be able to accommodate it all within the surf as well, and then start to have fun on it, and then I'm like, and then I was like, if that feeling will feel even better if you surf the bigger, because you taught me this one as well. Do you remember when you were like? I mean, you've always been around 70-ish, but when you were on the protein bars and stuff, I think you got up a little bit.
A little bit, like 71.
Yeah. But you were right. I was like, you right? What fins are you riding? And you were like, I think you had GAMs and like maybe an AM1 in the back.
AM's large.
Yeah.
And the old G5 or something. G3. Yeah, you're right. G3 at the back, the smaller one, right?
Yeah, and I was like, you ride. So that's like a technical extra large fin though at the time.
Yeah, and the sides.
Yeah.
It's like a 2+1 now, isn't it? Not as big, but not far off.
But it goes brilliant with loads of single, because your rails are drawn in slightly, and having that more pivot off those fins, and it just gives you a little bit more lift on the rail.
Flex in those Almerics was lovely.
So I was saying to Luke, like, get on those, and look, world champions, John, bigger fins in the side on his Gabbies. Gabbies are the best set because they're bigger on the side as standard, and then the standard size in the middle. So you're getting more fin. Yeah. So everyone's going more fin, but especially on the sides. Yeah. And like, fuck, we were doing that for years.
Yeah.
On mixer sets.
I'm trying to remember where I got. Well, I must have got it from Kelly for sure.
Well, Kelly's fins are always very pivoty, kind of bassy fins.
Yeah, weirdly, those first Slater fins, I can't remember what they were called. The blue ones with the white circle, they were very bassy and very upright, and I could never get on with them. And it would play with my mind, because obviously I've grown up trying to emulate this guy surfing, and I've got his fins, and I've got his. Literally at one point I was sponsored by Quicksilver. My head was shaved. I had his fins, a Quicksilver sticker on my board, his grip pad. I even had his wax on my board because I was getting wax with Seabase, and I had his fins, but I couldn't figure them out, and something was just not working with the way I was.
I'd love. I mean, I think it was FCS. They did like it was like Stab or someone. They like marketability. Who's the most marketable surfer in the world? And everyone would have just jumped to Kelly. And it was someone crazy like John. Not at the time. It would be John now probably, but that's a guess. It was someone like
most marketable surfer.
Yeah. So around. Kelly Slater does not sell the most product because he's got fins that are hard to surf, and then his boardies would be kind of a rough colour.
And like, I know what you're saying,
so he actually, and it was someone like Jeremy Flores.
Yeah.
Because like everyone in France wanted everything, and he had a sick set of fins. So like,
and consistency, right? Whereas Kelly there was no consistency.
No, it was just like, I want to try this, I want to try that.
These fins and
remember the nub fin that he would have, like?
Well, that's probably why.
It's mad. So it is really interesting. I would love to sit down and talk to Kelly about boards. That would be so sick. Just to be like, really pick his brains and be like, come on, man, you're doing this because you're bored, aren't you? Or what is it? What are you searching for?
Well, yeah, I mean, there is an element of that, especially in my surfing. You've got to keep it interesting and fun. Like, there's nothing more exciting than you giving me a board. Not so much if it's over volumed and long.
We messed up on this last one.
But a board that is within the volume that I can surf. Yeah. And feel like I'm having fun, but there's a better element of progression. That's so exciting.
See, that's the other thing, though. My view is I like pushing a bit of volume under your feet and just seeing how you...
Yeah, I know.
Because it's quite impressive. But it adds to your flow. And
100% it does,
my favourite... Your surfing is like twinnies. I like the quad shortboard as well, actually.
I like the fact that if you put something like this last one under my feet, and it's a stock 5.6 and it's too much volume and it's a bit floaty, but it's giving me all that carry because of it, the best thing for me is I can feel where that board could go if we just like bring something, like shave a little bit off, and suddenly the turn I just did, which felt nice, is going to feel really good. Yeah. But the trick there is not taking too much out, because you want to keep all of that down the line speed.
There was one where you took off and then you came off the bottom and then you projected up, and I was like, oh wow. And then you turned it into an air reverse. Like it was Like 100% surfer. The wave didn't allow you to do it. The board didn't allow you to do it. You just nailed it all. And I was like, oh my God, if that board was smaller, you might have even got a little full rotor out.
Yeah, that I would have. And I totally, as I came round, I could feel that volume going against me.
Yeah.
It was that moment where we're not quite on that line. Yeah. We're still in the fun zone.
Yeah,
and if we could have just took a little bit more foam out of that nose area, under not even the rail as much, just under the front foot when it lands, because your foot's moved forwards quite a lot.
Yeah.
You know, half a foot sometimes. You're pretty much on the nose. If there's a little bit too much foam around that stringer, you just can't get that nose underwater to give you that one little bit of that control. Yeah, just that little bit of control. Yeah.
I did want to touch on the new comp format. And what do you think?
From what you told me, I think it sounds...
Go on, you say it back to me.
No, I can't. No, because this is where I struggle with stuff. I got the concept and I thought it was great. I couldn't even repeat it because it...
All right.
I barely got the, like, you paddle out and you've got 20 minutes, you need to catch a couple of good waves. That was hard enough for me to program into my brain. It doesn't work that way.
No.
Do you know what? The hardest thing for me competing was, you know, when you looked at the heat sheet, they put it up, staple it up to a bit of plywood, you know, at the beach, and there was all these names and all these numbers and colours, and my brain would look at that and the times and just explode. That was the hardest thing for surfing for me, because my brain can't process information like that. It just doesn't do it. Give me a nice colour, and I'm like, that's a lovely colour. But give me information on it, especially put it in like a grid and a form or whatever.
I'm bad at it.
Wow. I couldn't work out when my heat would be in the water, and it could have been in the next 20 minutes, which is a fairly easy, you know, mathematical equation to figure out. You look at your watch and you go, right, in 20 minutes ago. But because there was so much information there, it would just wipe my brain. And I'd just be like, I don't even know what colour am I?
Yeah, mate, I'm the same.
So you told me that format over the phone, and I was trying to process that.
What is that though? What? Because so I find it very hard if someone books an appointment for me to get to that appointment on the right actual time and day, because I get very confused about when it actually was, and I'll quite often miss them. Yeah. When I had a golf tournament a couple of months ago for the county champs, the big one, I'm training for it. I'm really excited to be in this competition. It's all the best, very best scratch golfers in the county, and Cornwall's got a decent county record. You know, some good proper golfers. And I turn up for my tea time and I've missed it.
Yeah,
you're talking months of of training for this event, and I can't even, because there's a list of loads of names and loads of times.
It
and
just doesn't
for some reason
it doesn't go in and stay. I think it's because but I think it works the other way around. So like with your shaping and stuff, you could probably just shape a board and be like, that's a 6'2" by da-da-da, and you haven't even looked at the sheet, because you can just kind of do it by eye, and your hands are kind of they know, you know, what the numbers are.
Well, and I don't care what the numbers are. I'm going off of, I want him to have this much rail length.
There's a certain aesthetic to it. There's a certain amount of, you can see what the board's meant to do. And so...
And that's why I like doing stock form boards for you, just to go back to it, because that, to me, is a bit like that's like a cocky show to me. That's like, well, that's the stock board and you're riding it. And for sure we can tweak it. And I want to. So the Nuggie is going so well for you that I really want to do some now performance Nuggies, shorter Nuggie. I want to really like tuck into that one, because I looked at it under your feet,
see it
and then like I know that you could land big airs on that board.
Oh, massive! You could, you could. It feels so good. It's got that nice square, like not square. How do I even rotation where you could distribute your weight on the back and front foot the same. Has that feel to it. It doesn't feel like back or tail heavy. That's not the right word, but it doesn't have that so much tilt to it through the air. You could definitely put like more of a flat spin into. And the numbers will just be what they'll be from the changes we made, I reckon. But I definitely think there's more into that board. Not necessarily if we'll sell more if you start doing it. Mind you, how old are you now? 44. 44 doing airs. That's surely got to be aspirational. That's got to be aspirational for me. That's got to be. I still want to land a backflip. I reckon I got that in me still.
In a short little Nuggie.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's doable.
I think probably more.
That's like my secret goal is still to kind of, if I find a section to try.
What, double grab?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not being fussy. If it's a backflip, it's a backflip. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll just, see what happens. But I've got pretty close, but I've never ridden out.
Where's the best place to do it in Cornwall?
It could be anywhere. That's the crazy thing about here is
Do you not need?
Yeah, that's a good spot for it for sure. There, that's actually kind of a scary place. It's actually the perfect spot for it, but at the same time, I've had a few times. No, I've had a few times where I've gone, that's the one, that's the moment, and then I've bottled it and done a floater because you're actually going to land in the flats there are very, it's compact and it potentially could hurt yourself doing it.
A couple of people have at Crantock, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Neck's been broke, leg's been broke.
Yeah, there's a great launch ramp, but at the same time, it's shallow and it is pretty, for some reason, the flats there are harder than, say, at Fistral. There tends to be more oxygen in the water at Fistral, I think, because it breaks further out. So you've got the landing softer. So
it's
potentially,
not so sheer, is it?
No, I've got way more confidence just hucking one at Fistral and not worrying about the landing. Weirdly, it doesn't faze me. But somewhere like Crantock, or there's a few other breaks where you do kind of go, ooh.
Fistral is such a good.
Which is probably why I haven't done one yet, because I'm actually just bottling the perfect place to do it.
Well, I'm not going to hold it against you if you bottle doing backflips at 44, or any age, to be honest. I can't even do an air. Technically,
right, once you figure out the body movement and the section that you need to hit and at what angle, a backflip is potentially easier than say an air reverse. Yeah, because especially a no grab air reverse, because
on your forehand.
Yeah.
Nah, no way.
Yeah. It doesn't look it, does it? Because it looks crazy. You're doing like a loop the loop, but you've double grabbed, and you're just basically, once you get the grab and the angle and the movement, you're holding on to this thing. So
so are you talking like landing and you've got both hands on the rail still, you're compressed all the way down to the board?
No, you got to let go at some point.
Yeah.
I'm not saying land holding on.
I think it's flipping hard.
Let go at some point on the way down, but what I'm saying is the body movement when you go into an end section and have to go into a rotation and air reverse, you're doing that without grabbing and you're manipulating the board with just your feet. And at some points, 1 foot or 1 toe, whatever it might be, and then you're landing and rotating around backwards. Whereas with a backflip, as soon as you come out of the lip, you grab. Now you're stuck to that board. The board's not going anywhere. You're controlling because you're holding on to it. In most board sports, that would be lame.
You've actually got to let go of it to get the landing.
Yeah, but you've come all the way round at this point. Now you're just like, I'm still under my feet. I'm just going to let go.
Has anyone done one in a wave pool or anything?
What?
Backflip?
Loads of people do backflips now. Crazy ones. Like crazy ones.
Who? Give me say one person who's done a backflip. I need to watch a backflip.
Well, John, for example. He's doing them daily, I would have thought.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you must have seen loads.
I go mad.
I get mad.
Right.
The wave pool ones are amazing.
What am I going to type in? I was about to say surfing.
I'm trying to think of is it Seth Meniz?
Yeah, here you go. Gabriel Medina. Insane backflip. Yeah. Oh my god.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look. But do you see what I mean? Once he's left the wave, the amount it's the control.
Jeez, he's got a lot of projection.
Yeah, it's the control that is the key, right? Like that board's not getting away from you at that point. It's there.
Yeah.
You got your hands and your feet. Like imagine doing that in snowboarding.
If you let go too early, you're like face planting. If you let go too late, you're wheeling.
Yeah.
It's got to be like let go. Ha.
Yeah, there's the timing and like the technical ability is high, right? Well, but what I'm saying is I think it's a quicker and easier maybe thing to.
I want to see it, and I want to see it in our new format. So I'm going to go over it again, just because if anyone's listening, they might want to know.
I've laid down the gauntlet now, haven't I? You can tell I've visualised myself doing it. I'm already there. I just need to do it.
Just picture the scene. Picture the scene.
I might let myself get a bit older first before I do it.
Your competitor. It's more impressive.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just wait a bit.
Yeah.
If I land one, I might keep it a secret for a bit.
You can't nowadays. You'd be on the surf cam rewind. You 100% would.
Timmy would find me. For
Jackson had me on the surf cam rewind last night for a turn in 1 foot waves. Like, Timmy, Timmy, he's going to show us another wave from miles away.
Yeah.
Well done, Boyders. Shout out, Boyders. Harley's ripping. So the format is hour and a half heat, we think. Maybe an hour. I don't know, but hour and a half heat so far is what we've got to.
That's amazing. Do you know what that does as a competitor? Straight away, you've just lost all of your like nervous kind of, that bit that trips you up in 20 minutes, because 20 minutes isn't long enough to process that amount of energy, that nervous energy.
I want you to go out there and free surf.
I'd love to be nervous for the first 20 minutes of that hour and a half and see what happens, and then be able to settle into that rhythm and then see what happens, and then get to the end and have 20 minutes left and have that energy ramp back up.
Well, you might not.
You might not.
You might not like this next bit. Yeah. So your overall score for the heat is 10 scoring waves. It's not 2. Okay. So you're accumulating,
and you can catch as many waves as you want.
As many as you want.
You're getting scored on 10 waves.
You'll get scored on every wave, but your 10 are going into your overall score for the heat. Okay.
Yeah.
So if 2 surfers surf for an hour and a half, the person who wins the heat is the person who's got the highest score out of their best 10 waves. But at any point in the heat, first minute, last minute, middle minute, whatever, you can claim a wave. If the wave you claim...
I'm struggling here, aren't I? Hang on, go back. The person that gets the highest scoring wave out of the 10 waves...
No, so let's just say... So
you're just going to have to be like, Alan, just go surfing.
Imagine
when you get a good one, put your hands up.
Yeah, basically. so you boxing, there's 2 ways to win. Knockout, points.
Yeah.
This surfing, there's 2 ways to win. Knockout or points.
Yes.
The knockout is... The points is your accumulative score over 10 waves. Easy. But if you claim a wave, right, the judges will score it. Let's say you've claimed an 8, and it's your highest score of the heat. You've
claimed this wave because you've just gone, that was an exception for these. For me in these conditions.
I've just knocked this guy out.
This out of the park.
Yeah. So you claim the wave, and what you're saying to your competitor is, come on, mate.
Let's have a go.
Right, and he's got 15 minutes.
That's harsh. That's quick, 15 minutes though. Yeah. That's the only thing I might have to try
it needs to be quicker
than
than
a little bit longer.
Yeah, but okay, and because proof of concept is going to be you're in the first one.
I feel like that 15 minutes is going to go really fast.
Oh yeah, but it's going to be a surfer.
And you want if your guy you're competing against goes, have a go at that. You want to have a few goes at that, right? So you want a little bit of time to be able to answer back, because in 15 minutes you might only get one chance.
I feel like it's got to be somewhere around a standard heat.
Yeah,
length.
For sure, yeah.
Because the reason why is because you want that, if that's then the heat, that's basically he's gone, right, the heat's on.
Yeah.
But it's not get 2 scores, block someone, safety surfer 5. It's I have to better an 8.
Yeah.
Otherwise I'm getting beat.
Yeah.
So at the end of that 15 minutes, 20 minutes, allotted time frame, he doesn't better the score, you've won by knockout.
Yeah.
He equals the score, you reset back into the heat.
How do you know if you're in the water and it's...
Because we'll have boards
like a
and priority boards and stuff, and it will just be on sound.
You see it,
Yeah, there'll be a sound when when someone's claimed and it's been adjudicated by the judges that it's the highest score. So then he beats it, right? He doesn't win the comp.
No,
You've
he's
now
just
got 15 minutes.
Oh, I like that.
So what we're hoping is that you claim a 7.5.
It's kind of like that
he gets an 8.
Skate in a way, right?
Yeah.
The pressure goes on when
it's
someone suddenly,
it's
ups
hit
the ante.
For hit.
That's
all
nice.
you're doing is you're getting people just going nuts. And there's no pride.
But I'm thinking strategy now, because I'm trying to work out like...
Well, you could claim a 4 in the first 2 minutes
at
the end of a set.
I feel like a lot of the time in surfing, pressure is like the ultimate,
Can I tell you where this is from? I'm obviously not a competitive surfer. Never even been anywhere near it. I watch it, and I don't care if the surfers feel pressure for my entertainment.
No, you want them to feel pressure.
Yeah,
that's what makes it entertaining.
So like my watching vibe goes, how do I? Because what you're seeing with competitive surfing is the numbers that are watching are going down and they're aging. So young surfers don't care. They're just looking at TikTok.
I'm not
videos.
even watching it as much.
No,
and that says a lot, doesn't it? You've got somebody that's
4
like
events a year.
Yeah,
Trestles is one of my favourites. Pipe. Chokes.
I mean, I used to watch it like every second of every event of every heat, and now I'm finding it somewhat repetitive.
Yes.
The format, not the surfing.
Yeah.
The surfing's incredible. The format is kind of tedious.
The surfing's the best it's ever been, fact.
Yeah, I'm liking the wave pool events now because they're adding all these...
Really? So I can't quite...
Purely for the fact that the progression of the sport is there in terms of the aerials. I mean, it's insane what there's skating now, it's skateboarding.
Yeah.
You know, so that's fun to watch.
I still like the ocean being able to dish up.
Yes,
like the Slater,
separate things, aren't they?
Kelly Slater's moments wouldn't have been Kelly Slater's moments in a wave pool.
No.
It was like,
they're completely... yeah, they're not even comparable. Like
No.
the wave pool events to me are like a skate kind of jam in a pool or on a vert ramp or, biggest air wins, right? Whereas in the ocean, it's a whole different game.
It's just there's something else, isn't there? It's like you've got something else to contend with, and it's the real beast in the room.
Yeah.
You're both trying to tame the beast, whereas in
there's
a wave
so much more
pool,
strategy in the ocean. You've got to have an understanding of the ocean. So,
and a connection. Is that hippie to say that? There's got to be some sort of...
No, well, you see it, don't you?
Yeah.
You see it when people get on a roll.
Or people willing a set to come.
Yeah.
In the last five.
Well, Kelly was incredible for that.
Unbelievable. I know.
It was like weird how good he was at it.
They would be like, where did he get that wave from?
But the funny thing was he just so
ago.
strategically clever in that he knew that there was going to be a set at some point. I'm going to wait for it. I'm going to pick exactly the right wave and get exactly the right score. It seemed magical.
I think he was good at
understanding exactly what he needed and then just waiting for that moment.
I think he could make an 8 into a 10.
Yes.
He could dramatise his takeoff.
Into a 10. He had
for sure, but I'm saying like a pipe barrel.
Yeah.
He would leave it till the
yeah.
last moment to get to his feet.
a bit of drama.
Yeah, and the hands would beat, and then
Kelly is
but in a good way, not in a contrived way somehow.
When I'm like teaching people to surf, I say, and they're falling off all over the place and they're learning, right? So falling off is obviously a part of it. I say, well, good surfing is just falling off, but not quite. Because that's what Kelly was good at. He would literally huck himself into his like layback air and land layback and pop up.
Yeah.
Jackson's
got his layback dialed now from you saying slap on the
good
water.
Good surfing is literally you get to the point where you're like falling off and then you make it, and that's what looks crazy.
Yeah. But that's so. I think to the layman, to the casual fan, that's impressive and good to watch. To the layman who doesn't watch surfing, that is impressive and good to watch. So my idea with this format is that you bring core guys back into the zone of not just watching free surfing on Instagram, but actually having something to watch. You look at free surfers, go, I could do that format. That's fun.
Yeah.
Then you get casuals who are like, I surf. And now this is really... I'm seeing two characters go at it. And then you see people who don't surf going, should we go watch the surfing tonight at the beach? It's only a 2-hour event and we're going to watch the whole thing. We're going to understand the start, the middle, end. We're going to be involved in it. And then there's a band at the end and we all get wankered. Like it's got potentially everything to really create a big buzz about competitive surfing.
Yeah.
And I think the industry itself, it's almost, I'm ashamed to say it, but like, the most participants we've ever had, factory's busy, every factory's busy, yet athletes can't be surfers. It's kind of mad.
Yeah.
Unless you get a random sponsor from a bank or a car company.
I feel like the non-competitive side of surfing has got so big now and so creative with all these different shapes and ways to surf. No one's frowning on someone rocking up at the beach and with no fins in their board. And they're just spinning around on a wave and going 100 mile an hour, and that's now ripping. Back in the day, if you did that, everyone would be laughing at you. You wouldn't have even got in the water.
Yeah.
Now that's considered good surfing, and it is. It's incredible to watch. And the boards are helping people. The boards are so different with no fins, aren't they? Like the shape of them and everything. It's
just a whole new remit.
It's a whole new thing, yeah. So I feel like the creative side of surfing has just gone massive and amazingly, the arty side of it is incredible. And now...
Could you put it in a heat?
But this is it. Now I feel like it's going to help the surfing competition side of things, because it's going to add some colour and some flavour and some excitement to formats that are just been played out for so long now.
Yeah.
They're not bad formats, it's just we're so used to them and you need to shake it up.
Yeah.
And that's what's happened with the wave pools, and I saw that William Alotti twin fin event they ran in France, and I watched it and I was, it was compelling.
Yeah.
And I think that's what surfing needs more and more of now.
Do you think, the other thing I think it needs is is character. So like I don't.
But this is what brings characters to the forefront, because
for sure
it allows them to be expressive, and that's exactly what the sport is in its fundamental state. It's an expressive sport. It's crazy. Like surfing is one of those sports that doesn't have any boundaries or rules, or you don't have to cross a finish line, or any of this stuff, and you can just go out and express yourself. Now more so than ever before, and to get that in a competitive format is exactly what surfing should be. And
that's what surfing, the industry, the sport needs.
Yeah.
We need to sort of we need to monetize the gate of the events, so you can and then you need to grow the eyes, but not try and pluck as much out of you can as the eyes watching, because that's what's happening, and it's getting boring fast. But you need to grow the eyes watching. So I
think you're always going to have like your elite top 10 surfers in the world competing for the world title, right?
Yeah.
And I think that format needs to be quite strict and very sporty for But after that, I don't think we should all be running and gunning to the same format, unless that's your path to greatness. You need all these other facets of surfing.
See, I'm getting way ahead of myself
to make surfing.
I'm getting so far ahead of myself. I'm seeing like world champ.
Well, you could have that as the format and have a world champ. Why not? But
so what we're doing is and thank you for being involved. You are going to prove the concept. We're going to use the first ever event to see how our concept works, and we're doing again your idea, a Grom heat, and we were going to use Joan and Finn Gillespie, because they've got a rivalry, but
they're a good compatibility.
They've been one and two in a few local events,
and they've got their abilities similar, isn't it, in terms of different surfing approaches, but on par, turn for turn. You could definitely have that 15-minute thing would kick off pretty good.
And then obviously we had you and I could say it now, so I don't think it's going to happen, but you and Russ lined up, which I thought would be the battle of the Fistral guys, and I thought that was like,
you've called him out now. He has to turn up.
Well, sorry,
mate.
No, but he's ripping.
Yeah.
And he's back to his surfing.
Yeah, I'd love to surf another heat with him.
And we all are really enjoying seeing him down the beach.
I always enjoyed surfing against him, just because it was so different to my approach. He was so intense and intimidating, and I loved rising to that occasion. There was a couple of moments in my career where I had to beat Russ to win this or win that, and they're the biggest events I've won personally. Maybe not the biggest titles, but the fact that I overcome this intense competitive, rival.
Well, I mean,
that's it. That's what you want.
He's the best surfer to come out of Fistral.
Exactly. And so that's who you're looking at. That's the guy you want to beat.
If I could ask you now, obviously you're of the age where I do think you could beat a lot of the kids around, but let's just say, you're a dad, you're not surfing as much. We're trying to do this proof of concept. Who would be your ideal surfer to surf against in this format?
Well, Russ would be the guy I'd choose. 100%. Yeah. Only because when I think about it, I get a little nervous.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's what you want. You want that exciting.
He's going to be so pissed off of us for talking.
Yeah. Well, he's in now. He can't back down.
I saw him in the car park and I was like, dude, I've got this idea. Right. And I saw in his eyes the, not fear, but the fire.
Yeah.
He went, oh, that's scary, but I'm fucking going to murder him. Straight away, I saw it. He was like, but he messaged me, and he is getting back from a couple of injuries, and I know he knows that he's just going to get better and better because he's on this path, and I think he wants to ideally be at where he perceives to be as good as he can get for now.
For his age. Like, do you know what? Yeah. If he does that and he gets to that point that he's already visualising, watch out.
Yeah.
It would be crazy to see it, because I was watching him surf in Barbados. How's this? I saw him in Barbados, and I was surfing South Point, and it was very, very mediocre surf. 3 foot, wind swell, no one out. I was surfing on my own, and it was hard to surf. I was having fun, right? I think I was on the Flow Stick Mini, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm just gliding around, going fast, loving it, doing some nice turns, thinking I'm ripping, right?
Yeah.
And then I see Russ come down, and he walks down the beach, and I only saw him because he had like a bright yellow board, right? And he's walked way up the point. I'm like, where's he going? Because he obviously spent a lot of time there as a kid and now as well. I'm like, he knows there's something up there that you can surf, and he's going to go surf this little corner of the reef up there. he's gone way up and he's stretching for ages, and I'm just watching like this. I've turned up, got out of my car, you know, chucked a bit of sunblock on and just dived straight in. No stretching, nothing. I'm just like on dad hour,
the
as
true
fast
dad
as
surf.
I can go. Yeah, I've hit my fins on the reef. I'm like, get me out! I've got like, I reckon I can catch about 6 waves.
Yeah,
Sunblock on the wax. I'm slipping all over the place.
proper dad surf.
Yeah, it was
mate.
a proper dad surf.
So here for it.
And then I've seen Russ, and he's up there, and he goes through this full routine, stretching everything. I'm like, no way! Like, he is invested still, and he's in, like, his mobility is insane. It's always been insane. Like, he could have been an MMA fighter. The way he's like able to like get himself into like these crazy shapes,
generate
body
power. And,
just on the sand when he's stretching and moving. Like a man of your age should not be in that position. Like, how is your body still doing that? I don't get it. Mine doesn't do that.
Yeah.
And then he paddles out. And he got stuck up the top of the point a little bit in like this kind of like onshore-y mess, and I could see what he was trying to find, these little peaks up there. Nothing really came through. He might have had a wave and done a turn, and he came down, and he just picked off this like little inside 2-foot wave. It looked like nothing, and he took off, and then this thing just like cornered on the reef and turned into a 3-foot wave, and still the wave was crap. Don't get me wrong, it was a bad wave, but it was just the fact that he saw it, and he's on the inside. He's not even out the back. He's only 3 foot. He's picked up this tiny little 2-footer backside on this break, and then this thing's just grown over the reef and cornered, and he's done about 7 turns like lightning fast. Vertical snaps, bang, bang, one after the other. No like misplaced body movement through any pivot from the bottom turn to the top turn to the bottom, and it was just seamless. And I just looked at him, I was like, that would have just got you an 8 in any WQS event. Even now,
get him
in poor, you know, in those conditions, in rubbish waves, which they only run them so bad.
No one has battered a wave at Fistral like Russell.
No, I was like, wow, that's crazy.
So how's this? Last summer, I've taken Jackson for a Dorney, right? And how's this for timing? World works weird, doesn't it? Like, Russ was not on the scene. Last summer, he was like, you didn't see him ever surf, right? And Jackson was asking me about you and Tom Butler and like and I said, well, the best guy really. He was asking me who's the best, and I went, well, Russ Winter got to the World Tour, and he's like, oh yeah, who's Russ Winter? And never even heard of Russ Winter. You're like, what planet are you from? You live in Newquay, and I showed him some videos, everything I could find on YouTube. Yeah, and he was like, whoa, and he was watching. Right, so we're in the car park at like 6:30 in the morning at Fistral. Some guy is just animally ripping a right apart. Yeah. I'm like, who the fuck is that? And my head wouldn't let me believe it. Yeah. And I was like, Jackson, that's Russ Winter. He's out there right now. He's out there right now. Yeah. And paddle out. Jackson's like beaming up to here, like, no way, Russ Winter's out there. We get out there, I'm like, Russ, mate, this is mental. We were just watching your videos last night. Like, so sick to see you in the water, just battering when he's been asking about your videos, blah, blah, blah. And Russ was like, oh, man, I just surfing in the morning, so I don't want people to see me surf yet. And, like, he was, like, just cagily getting better at that stage, but battered one. Yeah. And so that's a year ago-ish, just under a year ago. So, like, I feel like he's there. Yeah, but I don't know. He must have even more. I mean, I saw him battle one the other night. I
know he's got way more in the tank.
Yes,
he from what he's doing already now, from where he's come from in that short period of time to what he's surfing like now. Yeah.
Does he have to beat you though?
What do you mean?
Does he have to beat you in a heat? Like, that's my headspace.
Me personally, or anyone?
As in, this is just my headspace. I thought of it as a celebration. Like, it's a proof of concept thing. We've got money.
No. He has to win. That's mindset, what is so fascinating about him. Like, obviously, I love the challenge. Yeah. And I love the fact, like, this is the reason I'd pick a heat with him, because we have history, and it would be fun, right? I don't ever like that part of it would be amazing. If I win, amazing. But it's not like I never wanted to beat anyone. This is a weird. And I spoke to B about this when he was doing the UK Pro Surf Tour interviews. I never had this like driving ambition to beat anyone. I never had this driving ambition to win an event or become world champion. I just wanted to get better and for myself each day, each surf, each wave. That's what was fun, and that led me to an event and win, and you know. But I never had that like I want to beat this guy because you know. But with Russ, that I had that because he was considered the best guy. So you want to then measure yourself, your own ability against what is considered the best, because you've been trying to be your best, you know, the best surfer you can, and now there's this obstacle that is going to dictate whether or not all of that effort is going to pay off.
Yeah, he's very much the level, the top boss.
Yeah.
That you want to test yourself against.
Yes.
And you don't, that's the thing on a computer game, you don't have to beat the top boss, you just want to go and challenge. And I guess being the top boss must be quite hard.
Yeah, and do you know what's crazy? Like and for me personally, and I don't want this to come across wrong, but for me, competing against Russ is me seeing whether or not I've got the mental capacity to compete against such an intense athlete, sportsman, right? From that's what I get out of it. I like to put myself up against somebody that is so driven, you know, to be the best. So that I get that from it. But then if you put me up against someone like Ruben Ash, it's the complete opposite. Now it's my surfing that has to do the talking. It's not a mental competitive thing. I know I've probably got the edge on Ruben when it comes to being competitive, right? I've got his number there. I know I do.
Have you just called Ruben out?
But maybe. But in terms of technical surfing ability, Ruben is that's where I get nervous, because I know Ruben on any wave, he could just throw something down and land it, and you're like, I can't even get any speed right now. So it's such a different, each surfer that you come up against makes you look at it in terms, it's a different challenge.
I thought Ruben against Harry Timpson would be a really good heat.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be. Of course.
I think you and Ruben would be a really good heat.
Me and Ruben.
You'd have to train for that.
I think Ruben's beat me more than I've beaten him for sure.
He's a hell of a surfer. See, the thing is, I wanted you and Russ because I felt like my thing wasn't who wins; it was celebration of the Fistral lads, and you're promoting B's UK Pro Surf Tour movie and the proof of concept, because you know. Well,
the competitive nature would really come out in us. That was what would make it fun.
No, but that's your guys. In terms of like as an event organizer, I just think it would bring eyes, and you know that all going well on this first event, we've got funding to do a proper tour series in this with the elite of the UK.
Yeah.
Like
a world champ, here we
come. It
come.
will be the biggest prize purse in UK history.
Really?
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so good. And that's exactly what UK surfing needs now. You know, and I'm sure, you know, B will
be stoked. We were talking about B. So that's
all of those guys, Dave Reed, B, that's, you know.
Well, you pick and I'll approach the person. Who, like Russ isn't keen. Maybe you give him a shout. And if he's not keen. I
just did.
Yeah. I'll send this to him. If he's willing to wait the hour and 45 before, however long we've been talking.
Yeah.
And then, if not, maybe Rubes.
Well, I think Rubes would be the next guy.
Yeah.
I'd be too scared to say Lucas. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
he'd wipe the floor with me at this point.
Lucas, I've got him lined up with someone else.
Yeah, and quite fairly so. I don't think I'd stand a chance.
I don't think anyone
does.
No.
He's like the end boss at this point. We can't.
He is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, so I've got him against Luke Dillon.
Yeah.
And just purely not
tactical.
No, purely because it's meat and potatoes against
meat and potatoes.
The aero guy.
But
Luke's like meat and potatoes. Had him in a couple of comps growing up. Luke is meat and potato surfing. Do you not think?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just bosh, isn't he?
Potatoes is his new nickname.
Yeah. Like when you we call him the baby rhino.
That's a great nickname.
Yeah.
It's so fitting, isn't it?
But I feel like Luke Dillon's. I mean, the obvious. There's other people.
So why have you put those two together?
Because Luke has beat Lucas in a couple of heats.
Yeah.
And they one of the best heats I've ever seen in UK soil. And so just to be very clear, on this occasion, Luke won. I thought Lucas won. Not that I thought Lucas got robbed because Luke won. or whatever way round it went, it was just like a celebration of surfing, and the judges gave it to Luke on this day. It was the guy on the inside doing airs versus the guy out back getting sets and just battering it. And the judges gave it to the guy out on the outside. And if the judges had given it to the guy on the inside doing airs, you'd have been like, yeah, fair. It wasn't, there was, it was hard to split them. Do the same heat 10 times, I think it would be 5 apiece, you know? And it was one of the best heats. And I know that Luke, as a person, wants to bring out the best in people. And I noticed this from his coaching when he did with Jackson, because he gave Jackson a lot of respect for... you know, Jackson had 3 surfs, and he's pretty low confidence geezer, and he didn't get any waves. We got 1 wave. It was so busy and pumping. He got 1 wave when he was doing the coaching with Luke and the rest of the team, and he got out and he was sat by the van with his mates. And I said, "Come over," and he's like, "No, don't want to." Couldn't face Luke. He didn't want to face Luke. So instead of Luke going, "All right, fair enough, he's had enough," Luke goes, "Come here." Jackson sort of candidly started walking towards us, you know, dragging his feet in the sand. So Luke got off the camera, ran down to Jackson, met him at eye level. God knows what he said. Jackson runs in the sea and then gets a little barrel in front of everyone. And and since then he's been surfing, and Luke basically was teaching him the art of compression, essentially, to gain speed. Dude, he's ripping. And it was a confidence thing. Luke wants to bring the best out of people. That's what he's naturally.
Well, if you're coaching, that has to be your ultimate. You know, that's the driving force.
A good coach.
Well, why else would you do it? You need to.
He's passionate about it, and he said something to me. You know what he's like? He's a humble dude. He said to me, "Harty, I'm getting good at this now. I'm getting really good at this now." And I've seen it now firsthand. What he did with Josie Hawk and Jackson, namely, it was.
The more you do it too, and it's not just surfing, is it? But with people, once you start to kind of understand what's driving that person or what's holding that person back, psychologically, physically, everything. You've got. It's a really interesting. It's a really interesting thing to be on the other side of competing, understanding your own kind of psychological battles, physical weaknesses and strengths, and then seeing how that. Someone else who's starting to progress and get better is having the similar things, or the complete opposite. If you're someone that can actually highlight those things, you're going to be a great coach.
But how do you bring the best out of someone? In a competition, is you make them rise up, and I feel like that's what he'll do in Heat against Lucas. So it's those two. I don't want to.
It's a funny one, isn't it? Because I never had a coach in that. Now these kids are going to European Championships and doing their squad training, and they've got Luke in their ear. I never had someone, not one person. I had a bunch of people that were offering advice, and some of the best surfers in the world. I was lucky enough to be. When I was sponsored by Quicksilver, we had so many good surfers that were, literally going for like world titles and stuff that would end up at a training camp. But it was brief and it wouldn't be consistent. But you were just like a sponge.
It's not a relationship necessarily.
No, but to have a relationship with a coach and then, be able to bounce stuff off of them is a huge advantage.
You're not the same as.
But it's got to be the right person. Otherwise, it can be detrimental, right?
Yeah, but also I think you could maybe, like I was about to say, you're not the same as Luke, but there's a similar. So like when you and Luke in the water, there's some good surfers, no names, that would still be hunting the best waves. Where I see where you guys are sat in the water, you might paddle for a wave and see a Grom looking at it and go, "Go on." Even give him a shove in, like I've seen you give Jackson shoves in, and like shouting a Grom in, and you've got that same thing about you that wants to see someone enjoy what you've enjoyed.
Well, you get more out of it almost. Like,
well, you've got a kid now, so you're like that's going to be.
You just get more out of seeing someone, and I love it when someone's in position for a wave. Grom, it doesn't matter who it is, but you're just like, I hope I don't put people off, but I can see what that wave's going to do down the line. I'm like, you're going to get barreled. Or do you know what I mean? Or just do an air or whatever it might be. Hit it. I can't help myself, that but vibe. I get, putting people off left, right and centre.
All surfers have got that deep down, and I think the worst thing you can do as a surfer is not listen to that little voice. Because when Jackson surfed when Jackson surfed the reef for the first time, I wasn't going to take him in. I felt like, bad dad, too dangerous. Everyone's looking at me. How can you take a kid out there at 6 foot and pumping and it's cold? And he starts crying on the rocks, literally putting his wetsuit on, trying to fall. And I'm like, dude, I can't, man. You don't understand. When you're out there, you'd understand. But right now, sat on the rocks, you don't know what that is. I do.
Yeah.
Pat, Landon Dark runs past. Come on, Grommy, let's have it. Come on, we're going in. I'm like, Pat, man, come on. And he's like,
perfect timing.
Dad. Yeah. And I went, I can't take him out there. He's like, of course you can. It's flat bottom. There's a channel.
It's a flat bottom.
You can sit there.
It's only rock.
Yeah. So, Pat.
Yeah.
Just G'd him enough, I was like, kind of maybe G'd me enough. Yeah. I ended up taking him out there, but like every surfer's got that thing. That's like, yeah, you do want to be out there on your own, get barreled, but at the same time, it's pretty sick when you share it.
Yeah.
And if you can almost share, you know, when you know.
Yeah.
But they don't. Yeah. You're like, I'm excited for them to see this or be in there.
Yeah.
And he ended up having a brilliant session. It was brilliant. But yeah, I see that in a lot of surfers, and there's some surfers that I don't see it in, and the surfers that I don't see it in.
I mean, there's lots of surfers.
They're missing something.
Well,
they're not quite all there in loving surfing like you could.
I don't understand. What are you referring to?
I don't like a surfer who doesn't want to share and doesn't see the value in that.
Well, potentially they've got happy. Yeah, but they might have a short window to surf, so they're just kind of being, I'm getting amongst this, and I don't care who's in my way, right? Which is fair enough, as long as it's safe. But also, I think.
Can you get caught up in your own?
Yeah, this is what happens with surfing a lot, and I try when I'm coaching people. It doesn't matter what level. I try to do it from like beginners all the way through, even very advanced surfers. I just try to make them aware of what's happening psychologically to them when they're out there, and the blinkers and the focus comes in, and they're unaware of their surrounding environment because they're nervous or a little bit. There's a bit of fear there, or a bit too much excitement. Whatever the emotion that's going through them is suddenly making them blind to the other people, and the wave itself they're trying to surf becomes,
it's an intense thing.
Yeah, it is. And they might have been sitting out there for 20 minutes and they've paddled for 10 waves and haven't caught a wave, and then finally this wave pops up and they're a little bit late and they paddle hard and they know they're probably going to go over the falls and all this stuff's going on. But what they haven't realised is there's this little Grom on the shoulder trying to get his first barrel, and they've just gone over the falls, right? So I think people, that's what, in surfing this happens a lot because they're in an environment that is I mean, if you could take Fistral and say there's 100 people out, I wonder what percentage of that 100 people are now out of their comfort zone because the swell's just suddenly got a little bit bigger, or the wind's got a little bit more offshore and they think it's got a bit too sucky, or when you're coaching, you at all these different levels, you really get a look into what people, and it's hard when you come from a place where you've been surfing since 6 years old, and it takes a fair bit more for you to get a little bit worried and maybe a bit scared, but then you like that a little bit because it's exciting, to somebody that's just come from a beginner and then now they're kind of in that intermediate zone where they've got out the back and they're like, oh shit, I don't know if I should have paddled all the way out. Now I've got to catch a wave in. Suddenly that fear closes all of their awareness of their environment down, and they're just focusing on catching a wave, but there's also all these other...
Bit of survival.
Yeah, totally. That's exactly what it is, and all of these other things are happening around them.
Hey, it's so true.
That's mainly what happens, I think. To give everyone the benefit of the doubt, it's just that seems to be the case with surfing. And that's what makes it very dangerous, is people lose that.
You definitely do get wankers, but I am... Yeah. You've just made me think
But I think that's the 1%, and I think the rest is just people wanting that excitement and that rush and pushing themselves out of that comfort zone. But now their brain and their focus and their body is starting to focus on the survival of the situation, and so nobody else really matters around them.
Well, it's mad because you plonk. Let's just say today it's, I don't know, head high onshore, kind of rippy, Fistral. My son's out there being slightly annoyed that he can't quite find a good wave. Whereas if you plonk maybe any 11-year-old from inner city London school, just plonk him out there, even on a board, he probably drowns.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's mad when you see, it's incredibly dangerous if you don't understand the environment you're in. And we forget that because we're obviously so comfortable in
it's
it.
when stuff happens though, isn't it? Like, do you ever find, so I perforated my eardrum. I've actually got video of it as well because it's really funny, but I perforated my eardrum. It was not a big day, it's quite a powerful winter day, but I was certainly not out of my comfort. I'm just surfing. And I was doing water safety for the board riders comp because it was quite big. So we were out there on boards, kind of stopping the free surfers and then letting the groms get waves and helping them paddle back out and all that. Anyway, I took a wave in between heats, pumped down, thinking, oh, this thing's going to barrel. And then sort of got to the section like, oh no, that's a big closeout. And it was just coming towards me at this point. I was going so fast. And within the blink of an eye, I was in a terrible situation. And about 1,000,000 miles an hour, I just as I was going to try and pull through the back of the wave and just get eaten, I was going so fast, I just hit a bit of chop and it just projected me like a salmon, just forward, and I landed on my ear, completely on the bottom of the ocean floor, perforated eardrum. Didn't know what way was up. I was drowning for 3 seconds, whatever. Got up, sort of crawled to the beach, couldn't hear, everything ringing, and like, geez, this is real shit. Like, and it's funny. It was hilarious. I've got the video on my Instagram. It is funny. It looks really funny. But for those brief seconds,
you got a little shook.
You went, well, you just go, geez, surfing is actually like you have.
I mean, if you compare it to something like skateboarding, obviously the consequences are way higher for injury and stuff like that. But the environment in skateboarding, it probably happens. The same thing psychologically would happen. You start to stuff closes in and down, and your ability to process probably narrows. But the ground doesn't move, and with surfing, obviously, it's such a changing environment that it's hard to kind of find some confidence in a, I've got control. You don't. It's not controllable. You're in an environment that's out of control, and the more you
got to find comfort in it.
Yeah, and the more you fixate on this is, the swell's got a little bigger, or the tide's too low and it's a bit hollow and heavy now, or this rip's getting stronger. The more you fixate on that's happening, the more it becomes out of your control. But anyway, it happens to everyone. I mean, it happens to me. I had a similar experience at Fistral. Funnily enough, I surfed it when it was like the biggest I've seen it, clean and with shape, and surfed and potentially it could have been very dangerous. So I was very aware of that, on high alert. Everything was very calculated. Surfed, got some good waves, came in, no dramas. In fact, it was almost too easy.
Is that the one where the Gartside got that shot and it's like 12 foot?
Yeah, solid. The biggest I've seen North Fistral, just like holding paddleable, clean, surfable waves. Surfed that day, and then it was fine. And we kind of even joking in the car park, like, what were we worried about? Because I think I paddled out with Ollie, and we were the only two out there, and we were always within eyesight and very close to each other the whole time, because there was these solid, probably 15-foot plus cleanup sets, just like you could have got. Drowning material, right?
Yeah.
Especially if your leash had broke, you were, the rips were strong. You're not swimming in potentially.
Yeah.
You're gonna try and body surf or something.
Yeah.
So we were a little worried, but it was, totally doable, totally surfable, and we surfed. And then came out feeling like, oh, that was amazing. And then the next day, it literally halved, still big and clean, and I paddled out, but I had this full sense of security because the day before was so big that now this felt like kind of small waves, really.
Yeah.
And I had a few waves, and then I pulled into this one real nice hollow right, travelled along in it for a bit, and then it just kind of like imploded, and when you drop?
Yeah.
And I just
Sandy
dropped.
level.
Yeah, it's like the ocean's opened up.
Only happens on a beachy.
Crazy, like just like elevator drop, and just like pinned on the floor. I had no idea where my board had gone, and I was pinned down by the force of this wave on my back. I think I even had like an arm behind me, bent, a leg like up by my back, so I was in a really weird, awkward position, and I wasn't able to push off the sand, so I was really stuck. My wetsuit hood got ripped off, gone. This is the middle of winter, and I'm down for a while, and I'm starting to get like full ice cream headache. I'm starting to panic, and this wave is not letting me up. And then now I've got free, I start swimming towards the top, and then bang, the next wave took me down again. So now I've been down for 2 waves. Never happened before anywhere. Nowhere that I've ever surfed have I been stuck for 2 waves.
Yeah.
And I just got rolled and rolled, and then I literally went into like that mode where you're just like, I'm just gonna roll. I'm not gonna move because I don't have the strength.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna save what I've got until I've
to stop breathing and just chill.
The last minute, I'm gonna make an effort to swim. And I came up, and I was literally like, I think my board broke and my hat was gone, and I just got like washed in, and I kissed a rock on the beach. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
When you hit land, are you like?
Yeah, it was one of those moments where I was like, wow.
Yeah, it is a crazy place.
That's only happened twice in my, the whole time I've been surfing. I could tell you the story about the other time it happened, but it was a similar experience. But the like near-death experiences, it's only ever happened twice. And I'd say I've taken a fair amount of risk, right?
Yeah.
Not as much as some people, but
yeah. Definitely.
Which is,
Hale Rivermouth that day when you paddled out and you were the only one out there.
Yeah, that was certainly quite risky.
Wouldn't have gone out there.
Yeah, pretty risky. But more because I was on my own, which was probably silly, but it was so good. But that's when you actually weigh it up in those moments. I do anyway. My surfing has always been calculated risk. So I looked at it and I'm like, well, I'm going in because I can't turn away. So you literally do that calculation like, I could drown.
Yeah.
But I need to go and catch one of these waves.
Yeah, see, I'm lucky in the sense that I get to the point where I've been to a few places where I could have gone in and I know I wasn't going in, Like I've also been in a few places and been out of my comfort zone and been happy to be out of my comfort zone, if that makes sense.
No, but it's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, a couple of times in Ireland where like...
But that's the hardest thing is when you find yourself out of your comfort zone and you understand it's then making the correct decisions, because that's when you can make the wrong decision.
Well,
silly decisions, is really silly decisions.
You need full 100% commitment.
Yes, you do.
Because if you don't have that, well, like I teach my kids, and I'm sure you'll teach your kids the same thing. Well, if you ask my boys this question, they will answer it within 1 second flat, exactly the same. When are you in trouble in the sea? And they'll both say, if you panic.
Exactly that. Yeah.
So just control panic.
That.
If you feel like you're going to put yourself in a situation where you might panic, do not put yourself in that situation. That you're not ready for that situation, and it's a silly situation.
Yeah, I've definitely been in positions where I've panicked, got to that place where there's panic. Even like I could feel panic on the horizon, and I could already sense how it's affected my ability to like just hold my breath.
On that note, because the memory card's running out,
that'll do us.
Cheers, mate. Surfing's a crazy thing. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
you're a UK surf legend. Thank you so much for coming in. I can't wait for this new comp, and
I can't wait for the refined Nuggie.
Yes, it's coming. It is definitely coming. Luke Hart, Alan Stokes, podcast over and out.